Tasya hetuhu avidya. The fundamental cause for not understanding this union between what we are as consciousness and what we perceive ourselves to be is avidya. It is not knowing. It is ignorance, being ignorant of our fundamental nature. We've become so accustomed to the costume that is our mind body. We've become so accustomed and so conditioned to believe ourselves to be this mind body, and everyone else believes themselves to be this mind body, that we actually never question it. And that's ignorance. That's our fundamental ignorance that exists in everyone. That's just there. And to come into touch actually with ignorance, with this fundamental acceptance. I don't know my fundamental nature. I'm I have no clue about it, is actually the first step out of ignorance. That's why in the Yogasutra it's talked so extensively about what is ignorance and how fundamental this actually is, because it is this continuous misperception of ourself that causes conflicts, that causes problems, that causes wars, that causes all these things that all of us actually don't want to see more in this world. But this fundamental understanding that ignorance is at the bottom of it, this is often not there. And also, then there is a growing understanding that that you don't know, like you don't really know yourself as consciousness. You've taken on like a costume, this mind body all the time. What else is there other than my life, my memories, my perceptions, my ideas, my values, my opinions, my whole gamut of what I have experienced in this life? And to know, to come into knowing, first of all, there is something else. There is fundamental consciousness. There is fundamental awareness. There is pure presence. There is something else here that is always also present. And many people can sense that there is a larger presence to them, a larger untainted essence to them. So the sensing, so first of all, there has to be this understanding. There is something there, consciousness, awareness, pure presence. I'm not really aware of it, but I can sense it, or I at least know that there's more to me than just this body mind. There's a larger, more unified essence of myself. So for many people, this is the first thing. I understand this mentally. I still have my normal my normal life. I still experience from inside this body mind, but I am also aware that yes, on some level I am consciousness. On some level we are all connected. On some level I am beingness. I get into touch with this on some level. I'm I'm at least aware of that fact in my mind. There is an awareness around it. And then the next step of this coming to know ignorance is really coming to know what is consciousness and what is matter, or what I mistakenly have taken on to be me. this understanding. So I have mistakenly taken on this body mind to be myself. And for many people, this is also just a thought. Okay, there is pure awareness, pure consciousness, the nature of what I am, or with this symbolism, there is something that's more essential to me than my expression, than this. Many people then say, okay, I have a feeling I have existed for a longer time. I have been in different bodies. I have a soul. There is something that has a continuing expression. So some people then say, okay, I'm continuously evolving. This is a continuation of some sorts, this life, and I'm a soul here on a distinct journey. And then there is something that is even prior to that, and that's your God self. That is that which is simply aware of all of what you have ever been, that is actually changeless, that is untainted. And so maybe you read religious texts, read the Gospels, you read other texts, you read philosophies from, and you gain an understanding of this fundamental, mistakenly perceived uh, complete union between what is perceivable and what is actually continuously just aware of it. And then the next step to actually experientially come to see your own ignorance, which is so necessary. It is like the fast step. It's like this admittance to yourself. I am ignorant. I don't know. I am I'm clueless. Maybe even the ego comes up, gets really frustrated with this whole non-dual, what we call nowadays non-dual or self-realization journey. What is this actually even about? I don't get it. The only thing I get is my life. What is here as an experience? What I'm going through every single day, what my situation is like, what my circumstances is like, what my worries are like, what what I'm fearing, what I'm hoping, what I'm dreaming about, what all this is the only thing I actually know. So how can she talk about something that exists prior as you? Something that's already here, something that I don't know. So where to look, how to look, what to do, what can I do, how can I experientially come to know this that is talked about, but somehow not be able to be found. And then to have this humility, this continuous emptying out of your cup on the spiritual journey, it is so important. No matter what you have learned, no matter how much you know, no matter how arrogant you are about what you know, what you have studied, what you have done, it is always, can I? Can I empty out my cup? Can I just be pure? Can I come back to not knowing? Can I try to discover this, find this out? Um, Seek this, even seek this, and also to let all these frustrations come up, and also know that there's something that sees these frustrations. I don't know, I haven't found this yet. I don't know what she's talking about. I'm stupefied. I know on some level I'm consciousness, but I have no clue how to actually find it. And it is this there is something that surrenders. surrenders to a new approach, to a direct path, to no striving and no more seeking on that level, no more experience, but a clear looking and a clear abiding and a clear subtraction, an absence instead of searching more or trying this or that. It's more like a clarity that comes from a fundamental surrender, a fundamental not knowing. And this clarity can get you in touch with actual listening, and actual listening to what is talked about. There is drishyam. There is the world of what is perceivable. The body is what you perceive. It is part of what is perceivable. Your emotions are perceivable. Your sensations are perceivable. Other people and objects are perceivable. There is something there that only perceives, that has distance to what is perceived, to everything that appears, to all appearances, to everything. And it starts with this witnessing, with this detachment. There is a detachment that starts to happen from what is perceivable, and to not instantly identify with it, because that's the culprit. It is that you instantly, actually, whatever is perceived, there is no distance to what is perceived, no distance to emotions, no distance to sensations, no distance to opinions, no distance to what is occurring. There's just you're just in it. You're just in your life story. You're just in reactivity. You're just in situations. You're just in your emotions. There's nothing that is actually aware of what is only aware, what is simply aware, what is untainted. This also exists. And from that space, then it's very different. It's just very different to perceive, to come into touch with this world of what is perceivable. But it starts with this witnessing of whatever is arising actually as not you, as not what you fundamentally are. As long as this is so, the mind is gripping you, as long as you have this, only option you have is to be in these stories, to be in it. There's no other, seemingly there's no other option than this. Then there is an option for you to say, this isn't me, not me, to drop the thought, to drop the emotion, to drop the sensation, or to reject it, to negate it for yourself as not essentially you. And to start seeing also that everything, like sensations, emotions, whatever it is that usually grabs your attention and that makes you identify with it, think that this has to be, it is arising, it has to be mine. There isn't even a questioning around it. To actually see there's another option to witness from you as awareness already now, and to see these things simply arising and ceasing, everything arising and ceasing within awareness, without ever touching awareness at all, without having any effect on awareness, without ever actually, there is this purity and untaintedness that you actually are. And to come into touch with this, and to see that even sensations and emotions fundamentally are thoughts arising within awareness. this can only become clear to you when you actually sit down and you observe, you become aware, you allow witnessing. Witnessing becomes part not just of meditation but of your life. To start witnessing, like even those findings that an emotion or a sensation is a thought, is fundamentally a thought, and that you as awareness can actually become aware of that as a thought. And you can become aware of it that it isn't essentially you, not even necessarily essentially yours, because this is a non-separate reality that you are continuously in. And so don't believe yourself to be this separate entity, actually, that doesn't even really exist from consciousness. There's just awareness, and what as an appearance is arising within awareness, and what gets identified with becomes your distinct mind body construct. But this is the only way experientially to actually become aware of what is actually ignorance. What is it? Like how, like I need to experientially see how I am continuously actually identified with whatever is arising. And this has to come as an experience. You have to see it, to know it, to actually come to know, oh, wow, yeah, I am ignorant. I have to, like, this is ignorance, to see it, not just, well, yeah, I don't really know what is consciousness, that I am consciousness. I haven't explored this yet or discovered this yet. This is again, it's a good fast step, but you need to experientially come to see what is ignorance. Like you being ignorant, you having, and again, it is just ignoring your essential nature. You can go through this life completely ignoring your fundamental nature, not ever discovering it. And it isn't for everyone. It is for those who are ready, for those who want to awaken from this dreamscape that we call life, that we call our reality. It is for you actually to find out what is reality, true reality, changeless reality, from where do all these appearances arise. It's not then the ego comes up and screams, yeah, is my life not important? Is it not also contributing? And that's why Patanjali has so many sutras going back and forth, also stating that obviously this is important for consciousness, your life, your distinct expression, where your journey, it's also not separate, and holds this huge relevance for consciousness to know itself. But it is about, do you actually want to know your God self? Do you want to know? Do you want to plug into the motherboard? Do you want to plug into the greater reality that is you? How deeply do you want to actually know yourself? How deeply do you want to explore the divine? How deeply do you want to be one with God? How deeply do you want to know what is universal truth or the universal reality? Um, and this starts often with understanding what is ignorance, understanding it on a mental level, and then coming to see it yourself. It's one of the big ahas is to see to see the identification with thought, to see it for yourself, to see how this has happened for you, to understand it. It's such a motivation then actually to go deeper and to find what isn't entangled, what isn't bound, what isn't inner thought, what isn't defined also. Oftentimes, when people have only the experience of life, this is all they have, this is all they know, this is all what they think they are. It often really contracts people, contracts them and defines them according to what they have experienced, and their self-assumption gets really small. This is what I am because I have experienced this and that trauma and this and that in my life, and this and that has happened. And to come into touch with that is completely free of that, and that allows you to know that you are never defined. You are never defined by what has happened to you. You're never defined by whatever it is, whatever life situations or circumstances you have faced or are facing. There is something that is continuously free. It's your own inner freedom that can be discovered, your own boundless nature that can be discovered. And so I hope that this video points you deeper to actually what is ignorance, and also to find this out, to see the ignorance, the ignorance of yourself. And let the ego rail, let the ego go crazy, let the ego get agitated about it, about not having known this, or not having found this yet, or not having had a chance to experience. Why did I not know this earlier? All these kind of things, this all how the ego responds, or I don't even want to try, or there's something I don't know yet, so I have to reject it because I have accumulated all this knowledge, and now I have to actually there's a completely different looking, completely different search or seeking that's asked of me, and my ego doesn't want to hear it, and so I just drop it. I just don't go further. Watch all this with the amusement of yourself. This is you awakening. This is you coming to know what is ignorance, not by me talking about it, or by other people talking about it, or by reading about it in the scriptures. Always check in, find this. Now you've been pointed back to how to actually come into contact with your own ignorance, and to find it and to admit it to you. And that's a fast step. I have to actually become aware of that ignorance, to see this, what has happened to me, to understand what is this union between consciousness, the seeing, and what is perceivable that has happened to me, to come into a deep revelatory experience of that yourself. It will greatly aid your own awakening. Namaste.